the original season 5, episode 9. We have not long to love. Definitely a crazy episode. The super crazy vampires are just pissed, and they want the vampires back on top. I don't know what they're gonna do with Vincent's character. He had a really hilarious moment when he was mad at the guy who was like, "You need to get out of here before I drag your punk ass back into the sun." That made me laugh really hard. And unfortunately, he ends up losing the woman that he loves, and I was just like, "Oh, that really really sucks." Because if I'm not mistaken, this was the first episode where they actually kissed, and it was kind of that thing where it's like obviously they like each other, but it was just sort of a thing where they just talked about it and it was like, I like you like me, and they don't really do it. And I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure they may have kissed like somewhere in there. But this was that moment where it was like they already had the fear, which was kind of a good way to write it, where it was like he freaked out that she would die, and then they actually killed her at the end of the episode when they have the explosion, or when they have her poison. She actually dies, but the explosion, she was okay. So interesting route to go for Vincent's character, and I'm super curious. I've always liked Vincent. I was thinking just watching this episode because he made me laugh so much during that one scene, and just how he doesn't really take too kindly to threats because he is so powerful as a witch. I was like, he might actually be my favorite character out of the originals cast. And it was just like him, and I was thinking because my favorite character for the Vampire Diaries was Alaric, just because he has like the craziest storyline in that series. I was like, Vincent kind of has a similar storyline. Like they have stuff where they've been controlled or taken over. Their bodies / minds have been taken over by supernatural stuff. At one point, they were both like somewhere in like the very top of like what they are. So just there's a lot of parallels. It's like maybe that's why I like the characters. And then everybody keeps dying. Like their favorite people just get killed off. So I was like, yeah, similar character, story arcs. It's more tragic for Alaric, but also have more seasons to have people die around him, I guess. But for Vincent, it's ticking, and people keep getting knocked off. So I don't know where his character is headed, but I kind of want to see him. I want to see Vincent at the rage level of Klaus when he's just going crazy, and I'm like, I want to see what Vincent would do if he's that mad, and we might get that coming up fairly soon, or unfortunately, like not until like July 11th, I think it was, but I was like, that would be pretty sweet. I would love to see that. I don't know if we're going to see that, but that's kind of what I want. I want Vincent to just go nuts. And they won't do that because, of course, then the season would kind of end if they just killed, like that's the whole thing, is that now we have our villains as, like, the side story. And then, of course, we have the stuff with Hope. I would personally consider as, like, the A storyline, which is her having this darkness within her and her trying to control it, and they bring the bracelet back, which I thought was cool. Unfortunately, that goes out like 2 seconds later. It's like, this isn't gonna work. So that goes away, and we find out that basically using her abilities in rage and anger is what allows for her to kind of have some semblance of peace. It like stops the whispers. So I thought that was kind of cool. And of course Klaus is like, well, if causing pain is what you require, then you have the perfect father. I was like, that's actually kind of cool. So we'll see how that ends up playing out. But crazy sequence where she runs into Elijah. It's like, I just totally can't remember the guy's name, unfortunately, but the Scottish dude, or yeah, I think Irish guy, the Irish dude, not Scottish. But the Irish dude comes back and he's pissed, and I'm like, he doesn't know anything. It's just like, she's dead. You just told me, you didn't tell me ahead of time. It's just like, oh, oops, my bad. But there's just so much. It's like, man, it sucks that he kind of has that. And then of course Elijah goes to talk to him, and he realizes that it's Elijah, and then he's like, what the F is this? Like, I'm seeing this happen, I see that happen. I knew he'd find out, and I was kind of surprised that they did wipe his memory. I thought he was just, final season was just like, whatever, you're in it now. But they do end up wiping his memory, and Elijah does that because it's like, I know she cared about you, so I know she would want me to do this. And so he wipes his memory, gives him like that calming peace. With it being the originals, I doubt that'll last. Even with the final season, I'm like, I feel like something's gonna happen. Somehow he's just gonna somehow is gonna come back. That's just what I assume, but I could be wrong. That could have been his final moment. I highly doubt it though. But we'll see what happens there. Maybe he'll show up, maybe he won't. Especially working in the one bar in the entire series, I'm sure he'll never show up again. So we'll see how his storyline ultimately ends up playing out. But definitely enjoyed the episode. I don't know where we're headed with these vampires. I mean, they're just like, yeah, we're gonna take over. And just the craziest thing, all they had to do, I mean, once again, it's the Vampire Diaries universe. Just kill the bad guys. That's all they had to do. They're like effing around. It's like they go to the apartment and everything, and Marcel's like, oh, hey, Josh, don't we need some sunlight? And it's like, yeah, they open up the blinds. It's like, just rip them apart. Josh, just take off for a minute, just a quick second. Marcel could take them out, and that's all it takes. Have Klaus come in. It's like, look, I don't like them. You don't like them. I mean, in all honesty, it's like the craziest thing in the universe. They're apart, like they're joining. They were with the people that got Haley killed, and for whatever reason, it's just like, like everybody's kind of just like, we'll see what they do. And I'm like, they're like as mad as everybody was at Elisha. I'm like, how are you not mad at the people that were, like, I mean, they weren't specifically involved like Elijah was, but I'm just like, they are tied to them. They're gonna do exactly that, but to other people. But it's the originals, and that's how it goes. Like, the family worries about the family. Everybody else is just dead people out there. Like, who gives an F? It's Marcel that cares about that. So I don't know. It was just crazy. I'm like, I don't know why they won't just wipe these people out. They know they're serious. Like, they know that they want them dead, especially after the suitcase bomb thing, and they kill Luciana. I'm like, there you go. Like, that's just a full on threat. That's not like a maybe not. Like, they compelled a guy, had him killed, had her killed. I think it was one other person, because they mentioned like 3 innocent people died. I assume that Luciana was in there, and it was just like, well, that's pretty much it. Just go kill them, plain and simple. Like, find them and kill them. And then we find out that they have a witch on their side, which really sucked. And that's when Vincent, of course, ends up losing somebody else that he cares about. And it's just like, wow, of all the people that like suffered in the episode, it ended up being Vincent. And I'm just like, well, that blows. Like, that just really sucked. And of course, he gets there just to watch her die. I was like, man, all this stuff that happened, and then she just dies at the end. And it's like, well, and of course, especially with it being her, she was basically like an innocent party. She was like so far outside of the realm. It was just that normal thing of being involved with the main characters, and Vincent is in that realm now. So it really sucked. It was like, dang, they killed her off, and who knows what Vincent is gonna do. Everybody else is kind of just scot-free. No big deal. Luciana is dead, so she dies. They're just killing off the ladies, I guess, in this episode. I don't know, they're just killing people off. But it was just like, man, that sucks. I guess the one really good thing, Freya proposes, so that's nice. If that, who knows? I think I mentioned before, I was like, I don't know if Caitlin's gonna live. Who knows? I mean, every time people get together in these shows, I'm just like, I don't know. Especially with the originals. I feel like more people die in this. Oddly enough, I feel like more people died in the originals in these couple of seasons than most people do in the Vampire Diaries. Like, main characters seem to die way more often in this show, permanently at least, because the originals died I don't know how many times in the Vampire Diaries, but they can't like die permanently. So I don't know. We'll see what happens, but I definitely enjoyed the episode. It was just like, that blows. Like, this whole time everyone's just like, we gotta pick sides and this and that. It's like, these are crazy people who are trying to attack. Like, they're sending out attacks and stuff, and they bring up the fact that that's exactly what Marcel did. But and of course, we don't see exactly how he did it, although I would assume it was the same, because I think in the first episode, he does kill a witch as an example. So it's like, it's not like he was very different back in the day. But, things have changed, and it's like, well, that shifted a long time ago, and now to go back to that would just be starting that cycle over where, yeah, it was just as violent, but now things have changed. Like, there are different allegiances. Like, people like different people, especially with the way it was in between seasons, where it's like, it's been super freaking perfect, where everyone's kind of been okay, and it's just been cool. So to go back to that is like a huge regression for the entire city, and so of course nobody wants that. But crazy episode. We'll see what happens when the series comes back. But of course, would love to know what you guys thought about it. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, your least favorite parts. And I would love to know what you guys think Vincent is going to end up doing. Like I said, personally, I would love to see him just go crazy like Klaus. But I think he is actually strong enough to where if he found them, although they do have a witch on their side, so now that's an easy way to kind of balance it out. But if that wasn't the case and somehow they were able to escape, I feel like Vincent could just take them all down like that. It'd be some Thanos type stuff. Just boom, you're done. But I don't know. That's kind of what I want to see. It's just like an angry Vincent is what I want to see. So I'm hoping that that's like half of the story for the next episode. But we'll see what happens ultimately. Like I said, definitely want to know your predictions for what he's going to do. And of course, want to know what you guys thought about this episode in general. So please comment below. Let me know. And thanks for watching.